Well, the Cape Breton Centre for Craft and Design opens its doors to its third-floor loft today to showcase the wares of Cape Breton artists. It's hosting the annual seasonal market they're calling Holiday Spirit. And this week on Information Morning, we've been meeting some of the artisans whose unique work will be on offer there. So far, we've met artists who work in multiple media, and this morning we're going to meet a potter. Sarah Beck is the owner of Wildfire Pottery on the North Shore. Good day, Sarah.
Good morning.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no problem.
You have the little smart car?
Yeah.
Today out in the parking lot?
Yeah, and it's nice to hear that diesel's going down.
Yeah. Listen, I know you're from British Columbia. Mm-hmm. Where in BC?
Williams Lake. It's about 8 hours north of Vancouver, driving up the interior of the province from Vancouver.
A little place?
20,000,
okay.
I guess. It's like logging and cattle. Let's see. Cowboy country. We have did when I was growing up, have the second biggest stampede in Canada.
Is that so?
Yeah.
So how did you end up here?
Well, I play the fiddle, and I came out on holidays a couple times. One about 15 years ago, and then I came again around 10 years ago, and then I met my now husband. He's a fiddler as well, Paul Cranford, and decided, I like this place, and I like this guy.
Like this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are an interesting couple because you're an artist and a musician. Play with Rocky Shores with Paul.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And Otis Thomas. And
Deanie Cox, Paul McDonald, and David Papazian.
And who's a voice we hear on this show? Yeah, always telling us
He's dog
what's going
sitting
on
right
now.
now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, for me.
And of course, your husband, besides being a fiddle player, is a composer and a publisher and lighthouse keeper.
Yeah, and mow grower.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, I'm one of those mow wives. Yeah, I had a mow space. I raised some money. So,
how did you guys get together?
Jerry Holland actually introduced us.
Really?
I was staying a night with Jerry, and we went to the session at Rowley's Wharf, and I met Paul then, and I was backpacking. I had my tent and backpack, and so he said, well, I live on 200 acres of the ocean if you want to put up a tent there. Great. So, 3 weeks later, I was still there, and that was it, basically.
And have you ever kept lighthouse with him?
Yeah, a few times. He's retired now from lighthouse keeping, but I was out there 3 times and go out for a month. It's great. Oh, I loved it.
This was at Machias Seal Island?
Machias Seal Island in the Bay of Fundy, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's totally wonderful. Fly out by helicopter. Nobody can get to you for a whole month. You're just there with lots of chocolate. It was always in the winter, Christmas time.
And how did you get into what you do for a living?
My mom is a potter.
Really?
So I grew up doing it with her on and off, and she opened a shop in a little town called Wells, which is a couple hours north of where I grew up, Williams Lake, and so I helped her open that, and then I did it with her in the summers sometimes, and then when I came out here, I was trying to figure out, I knew I wanted to stay, so I was trying to figure out what to do, and well, I can do pottery, and there was a little building right across the road from where I was living, and so I rented that for the first while, and then bought my shop now.
And what kind of pottery do you do? How do you describe the technique that you use?
Well, I do a lot of something called raku, it's a traditional Japanese pottery. They use it to make the tea bowls, and it's been sort of changed, North Americanized, and It's kind of an elaborate process. The first firing is the same. So I make the pieces and I fire them in my kiln inside. And then the second firing, I glaze them and I bring them up to temperature, which is about 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. And then take them out of the kiln with tongs when it's really red hot. I can look in through the kiln and see that the glazes they look wet. They're melted.
Yeah.
And I take them out with tongs, and I've got a little penguin here sitting on the desk.
Very sweet.
And so if you can't really see this on, of course, the listeners can't see this, but the penguin has the black part is actually unglazed clay. So when I take it out of the kiln, I put it into a bin with newspaper, and that immediately ignites because it's so hot.
Really?
And so the smoke will smoke the bare clay.
Wow.
So the black part of the penguin is all smoke. Huh. And then the white part is clear glaze, and that's the white of the clay showing through. And then I have the colors, like I mix most of my glazes just like you'd make a cake, but I do buy some commercial glazes to get the pinks and the bright colors.
And one thing that I always find really attractive about your stuff is that quality. Like there are all kinds of fine
the crackle,
cracks.
yeah, and that is, and they're not cracks, they're crackle.
Crackle. Forgive me.
Yeah, that's okay. I always have to make that distinction
Yeah,
because
you don't
people
want
look at
cracked
it and they go,
pottery.
"Oh, look, it's cracked." I'm like, it
True.
is not cracked.
No.
But the crackle actually comes from the air hitting the piece when it's, imagine it's coming out at 1800. Hitting the air, and just like glass, when it gets hot, it shatters. Shock. Well, that's what happens. Is the thermal shock will crackle that glaze right through to the clay underneath, and then like with the rest of the black, it pulls the carbon in and smokes those lines, and so they fill in with the carbon.
It reminds me kind of looking down like a bird's eye view from an ultralight or something on a desert.
Oh yeah,
all the cracks
the ripples there.
Something else that's neat. May I see you have a chickadee here
Yes.
too? May I take a peek? Something else that strikes me about your stuff is, and obviously a lot of it's inspired by nature and the things around you on the North Shore, birch trees in the moonlight, humpback whales, chickadees. You don't see many penguins on the North Shore.
No, I know. People come in my shop and they look around. People visiting Cape Breton. Do you have penguins here? No, just in the southern
say,
hemisphere.
yes, ma'am. This is what I saw the other day. But one thing that strikes me is you do a good job kind of capturing the essence of the animal, like the chickadee perched lightly on the fir bough, kind of full of energy, contained.
Well, I try to, I sort of, I do anthropomorphize them a bit. I make them with a bit of human qualities, but I do try and keep the essence of the animal. But I do a bit of chubby cheeks and that kind of
cutify them.
Yeah, cutify them, definitely. And fat is good in animals, maybe not so good in people. But
And what about that? Something I asked Irene McKinnon about yesterday was that that push and pull that comes from being an artist who thrives on creativity, but also you're a manufacturer in volume and a business person.
Yeah, I sort of struggle with that sometimes, like I know that, okay, I have to make 100 of these things and sometimes it's not as fun, but I watch a lot of Netflix. I try not to, when I have my shop open in the summertime, sometimes I have that going on. I'll hear the customers pulling into the parking lot. So I switch on the lovely music. And
put
I'm
pencils
working.
in your hair.
Yeah. Oh, the artist at work. and then they leave and I put the movie back on.
Well, Sarah, it was nice to see you. Thank you very much. And you told me that these are for the gift table.
Yes.
It's very generous of you to do that. I appreciate it. I don't think they're going to stay very long.
All right.
And safe travels back, and we'll see you this weekend.
Okay, good. Thanks.
Sarah Beck is owner of Wildfire Pottery on the North Shore, and she is also a member of Rocky Shores, the traditional group. She's a fiddle player, and she's one of the artists taking part in the Holiday Spirit Market on the third floor of the Cape Breton Centre for Craft and Design in Sydney. The market opens to the public today at 5. It runs till 8 o'clock tonight. It's open tomorrow from 10 to 6, and then Sunday from noon until 5. Great place to pick up lots of handmade Christmas gifts on your list.
Looking for more CBC podcasts? Go to cbc.ca/podcasting.